2. Alpha 2. Blood pressure decreases the release of neurotransmitters. So down regulates all the sympathetics. Beta 1. Beta 1. What's beta 1 do?
Half 3.
Does what? Blood pressure. Heart rate. Anything else? Increase renal secretion. Beta 2. Yeah, beta 2. What's beta 2? Potassium. What else? Dilation. Beta 3. Beta 3. Lipolysis, right? So remember, you have to know what the receptors do. You need them dead. Okay? Because the receptors are going to tell you what the drugs do. The receptors are going to tell you what the drugs do. So for the last lecture, when you study it, the first night, you just study the receptors. So that's it. Just learn the receptors. Okay? Know what alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, and then dopamine. What do they do? That's it. And then once you know what the receptors do, you know what the drug does. Okay? Because all the drug's doing is stimulating the receptors. So learn the receptors first before you study the drugs. Okay? Learn the receptors first before you go into the drugs. Once you know what drug binds what receptor, then you know what the drug does. Okay? If you try to study the drugs and you don't know the receptors, you're wasting your time. It's too much. Okay? Because then it's all memorization. Okay, any questions on the last lecture? Okay. Remember, you got to study this every day. Every day. Go ahead.
Is the sites important for the receptors?
For what?
The sites. Is it important for the receptor?
What do you mean?
The site. The site.
What about
The location.
The location.
Of course.
Site.
Of course.
Important.
Of course. Very important. Of course. It raises the blood pressure, but it keeps the blood vessels open to the kidneys and the mesentery.
And the side effect, hypertension. But if it's very high blood
It can cause at higher levels it'll cause hypertension. At high levels.
But side effect is high.
That's at lower levels. Because we change the receptors at higher levels. Okay? There was a mistake in the slide. Tell the class what the mistake was. Huh? Tell them what the mistake was. There was a mistake in the slide.
السلايد حط هاير كبد الفا وهاير بس
Again.
هي الصح عندنا دوبامين اذا كان باللور دوز اكتيفيت بيه هاير دوز اكتيفيت
Okay, so it's a lot of material. You have a week to learn it, but it's very, very important. All of these drugs you're going to see again. Okay, you'll see some of them in hypertension. You'll see some of them when we have to deal with congestion. So all these drugs you're going to see again. Okay, and so you should see them again in class, and then again, of course, you see them in the clinic. So we'll start with what's called today. I'm going to deviate a little bit because your other classes don't talk much about this. So I want you guys to learn, which is most important. So today we're going to talk about what's called the Monami Hypothesis. Monami Hypothesis. What this means is your emotions and your mood. Your emotions and your mood are controlled by the levels and pathways of dopamine, serotonin, and the epinephrines, okay, in the brain. And we've run into these already, okay? If I don't have enough dopamine in the brain, if I don't have enough serotonin in the brain, or if I don't have enough epinephrine, you get depressed. Causes depression. Okay? Depression. Okay? At high levels, become manic. Okay? Talk real fast. Okay? Maybe do inappropriate things. At very high levels, you go psychotic, lose your mind. Okay? Psychosis. Okay? Dopamine, serotonin, and epinephrine controls your mood. Okay? Controls your mood. Low levels, depression. High levels, mania. Very high levels, psychosis. Okay? Every one of you uses this, okay? But you don't know it. Okay? If you get depressed, sometimes you'll start eating chocolate, cheese, right? That's because those are precursors, for instance, to serotonin. So you naturally will elevate yourself. Okay? To raise the mood. Okay? In the West, where some men and women date, you give them chocolate. Okay?
To change the mood?
To raise the mood. Okay? So, sometimes the foods we choose, we're subconsciously replacing what we need, and even for our emotions. Okay? Dopamine, epinephrine, and serotonin. Okay? Norepinephrine or epinephrine. Use them interchangeably today. Norepinephrine, epinephrine. Okay? Alertness and energy. Alertness and energy. Dopamine. Pleasure, reward. Serotonin. Compulsions. Okay? Serotonin. Compulsions.
What does it mean compulsion?
Huh?
What does it mean compulsion?
You have an urge to do something.
Not to.
Urge to do something. Like say you want to go to you want to do something all the time. It's a compulsion. Okay? Obsessions, you think about it all the time. Okay? All these together, the mood, anxiety. Okay? catecholamine, dopamine, serotonin. Okay? Epinephrines, norepinephrine, wakes you up, makes you alert. Dopamine, motivation, pleasure, reward. Serotonin, you think about it, you want to do it. Okay?
So these two, we can't find this in coffee.
A lot of it. So, I give a girl chocolate, you want her to what? Think about you. I'm serious. Okay? I'm serious. Pharmacology is powerful. Okay? I could give you drugs to make a woman fall in love with you. I could do that. I can do it. Give
After class.
serotonin, give them oxytocin, they'll fall in love with you. Serious. Okay? So, mood. Epinephrine, dopamine, serotonin. All right?
So, doctor, if I want to study, can I get dopamine to study?
There's other ones, yeah, you can get releases of these by other methods. Okay, one way is exercise. If you go work out, you'll produce more of these.
What
Okay.
about the nootropics?
Huh?
Nootropics. Nootropics.
What do you mean?
Small drugs.
Some amino acids are precursors to these amino acids. Tryptophan, which you find in pizza, cheese, will make serotonin. Okay, we can have a tyrosine, we can make norepinephrine and dopamine also. So some proteins will help make these proteins. Okay? Working out makes us release all these. Right? Go to the gym, right? Work out. Okay? So norepinephrine, epinephrine, alertness, attention for dopamine, for pleasure, obsessions and compulsions, okay? So these increase your mood. Okay? Some people get addicted to drugs. They take the drugs a lot of times because they're depressed. They don't feel good, they're depressed. Okay? So one drug is cocaine. Okay? So your neurons release these neurotransmitters. Cocaine blocks the reuptake of serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. So it increases the levels to very high levels. And so for a few minutes, the person feels better. Okay? The serotonin makes them want to take the drug again. The dopamine makes them feel good. The norepinephrine wakes them up. That's why it's very addictive. Okay? Very addictive. It's a reuptake inhibitor. So what happens is the neurotransmitters release if you take cocaine, it's not reabsorbed for a few minutes, and so the neurotransmitter stays in the synapse and keeps on activating the receptor. Okay? And so you get serotonin, compulsion to take it, wakes you up, feels good. Okay, so they self-medicate with drugs. Self-medication because they're depressed. Okay? At higher levels, they keep on taking it. It can cause death because it blocks the sodium channel. The sodium channel is how your nerves function, right? Depolarization. It'll block that. So it can cause sudden death at high levels. Now, we can use this in dentistry and in the hospital to stop bleeding. Put a little bit of cocaine on them where it's bleeding. Okay? Why would this stop bleeding? Yes. That's why the receptors are so important. Now I don't have to tell you, just figure it out. Everyone see what they just did? They figured it out. I don't have to tell them. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've had 1,400 students. You know how many failed the boards? 0. I know what I'm doing. Okay? Do you know how many have passed the boards from the U.S., from this school? Huh? 0. Okay? Big difference, right? So your other faculty, they've been teaching, okay, in 7 years since the school's been here. This is how many people have passed the American boards. 0. Yes, 0. Doesn't sound good, does it? My students, everyone, okay? You can't have 70 slides. I'm telling you, the person doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Okay? Clinical relevance, so like these guys just did, you understand, I don't need to say anything. This is how you learn medicine. Figure it out.
Doctor, I have a question. The person overdose. His heart stops. Right?
They can't stop.
Yeah.
Or they have a heart attack.
Heart attack. Usually they have
What?
a stab.
Ep-
They stab in the heart.
epinephrine.
They give them epinephrine. They say,
Yeah. It may not start, because they may already be too high. So you may try the electrodes, shock. Side effects: fast heart rate, cause a heart attack. Hallucinations. Remember, all of these at high levels can cause them to go nuts. Okay? Paranoid delusions. Okay? They think they're the king. Right? They get very hot and start to sweat. Hyperthermia. Cardiac arrhythmias. Okay?
All of this side effect is
Yes.
for high level.
For cocaine.
Yeah, high level in
Yeah,
cocaine.
they keep on using it. Okay, but some will get arrhythmias even at low levels. Okay? Cocaine. So it can make them feel good, but it's addictive, and at high levels it causes psychosis, cardiac arrhythmias, possible sudden death, hypothermia, sweating, hallucinations, because of very high levels of these drugs. Okay? It's used for people that feel depressed. Because all low levels of these three, serotonin and or norepinephrine and or dopamine, can cause depression. So they treat themselves. Okay? Indirect amphetamine. This stimulates the release. Okay? The release of norepinephrine, a little bit of dopamine, a little bit of serotonin. Okay? Amphetamines. Mostly, though, stimulates the release of norepinephrine. What did norepinephrine do? wakes you up, makes you alert. Serotonin, you want to do things. Dopamine feels good. Okay? One more time. Epinephrine wakes you up. Norepinephrine. Dopamine, feel good. Serotonin, to do things. Amphetamines. Now, drugs very similar to amphetamines are used to treat narcolepsy. That's when the person's always falling asleep. Attention deficit disorder. Okay. Which they shouldn't give, they do. And military. Stay awake at night. So things similar to they use for the military to stay awake at night. Okay? And then for attention deficit disorder. They shouldn't give it them. Because this is what happens for a child. If you give them this all the time, they grow up smaller. Yes. But they give it, and they shouldn't. There's better drugs. But this is what's given. Okay. Tyramine is natural. Okay? It stimulates the release of catecholamines, of dopamine and norepinephrine. Where do we find tyramine? In cheese. So you can self-medicate with cheese up to a point. Okay? Tyramine. Also, you find a lot of it in beer. That's why people drink beer outside of this country. Or unless they're in a European compound outside of Sakaka. So they're having to work and drinking beer and doing what else, right? That's why I don't stay at the compounds. Yeah. I know you know they should all be executed. Okay? It's probably why there used to be a lot of English teachers here, right? Got thrown out, right?